Louis Farrakhan. You've heard of Louis Farrakhan. I've said for the last 29 years now, 28 years or so, Louis Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, most of the black preachers who are not called by God, but by their mama, the Black Caucus, the so-called civil rights leaders, they're all wicked. They're evil people. They use their titles, their positions to manipulate the hearts and minds of most black Americans, and they keep them brainwashed, dumbed down, and demoralized. Most blacks today does not care about God. They do not care about good. They do not care about what is right. And the reason is they've been screwed up in their homes, because most of them are born out of wedlock. And then they go out into the world. They have been misguided and misled by the so-called leaders. This is why you got to get over leader. Let Christ be your leader. You don't need another human being to lead you as an adult. Who is leading the person or people who are leading you? And if they have sense enough to lead their own life, why don't you have the same sense? What's wrong with you? Louis Farrakhan, I used to listen to this man when I moved to L.A., and I started to look around and see what was wrong with me, that I was weak and a beta male. I couldn't I just couldn't stand up to life. And I sooner or later realized I had anger, but not because of Louis Farrakhan. I used to listen to him in that fallen state, and he was blaming the whites and the Jews for the failure of black Americans. And Louis Farrakhan is able to, and they are doing this in a lot of the black churches, the Christian churches, and they are able to do it because most black people don't think for themselves. They are believed into that lie. Once you believe into a lie, it controls you. We live by faith. We live by faith. You're not on your own, folks. Whether you believe in right or wrong, other people or whatever, you're controlled by what you believe. Louis Farrakhan is an evil, evil man. Louis Farrakhan tweeted, "I am not anti-Semitic. I am anti-termite." And this is from the Nation of Islam. Louis Farrakhan accuses whites and Jews white and Jewish dictators of being anti-black.
White folk don't like Farrakhan. Those who have been our deceivers, they can't stand me. Call me an anti-Semite. Stop it. I'm anti-termite. They call me anti-Semitic. No, you are anti-black. Now I'm talking to the anti-black white folk.
Amazing, huh? He's an evil man. Believe me, when I was in my early 20s, I moved to L.A., I was insecure. I was on my own, insecure. And I started looking for answers. I listened to the NAACP, Jesse Jackson, and I used to go to some of Louis Farrakhan's meetings at the Forum in Inglewood, California. And he was saying this type of stuff, and because I was in a fallen state, I believed into that lie, and I absolutely believed what Louis Farrakhan was saying about white people and Jews. Because once you believe, you're then controlled. But now I realize he was lying. He was using that for his own personal gain. America, wake up. Know thyself so you can know what is right. Anyone who is teaching you that whites and Jewish dictators are being anti-black are lying. And they're doing that to control you. They're lying. And it's just evil, pure evil. It's clearly a battle between good and evil, right versus wrong. We do deal with physical temptations, but if you're paying attention to yourself, you can see what's going on, and it has nothing to do with the color of the person. Louis Farrakhan is using colors, and he's done the color of the person, and he's done this for years for personal gain. Louis Farrakhan says, referring to the whites and the Jews, he says they own everything because they are master deceivers.
How come you lay around black people? I'll be your manager. You do need a lawyer, don't you? I'll help you. I'll be your agent. How did they get to own everything that we have created? It's because they are master deceivers. And they hate the fact that we are strong enough to say it.
So my question is, if whites and Jews have taken away everything that blacks have created, and they're strong enough to say it, why aren't they strong enough to live it? And why don't I see black people doing it over and over again? If you're strong, I hear the liberal women always say, I'm a strong woman. Like you don't know that they're a woman, right? Like you can't see that they're a female. I'm a strong woman. Anytime someone has to remind you that they're strong, they're weak. And that's why they have to constantly keep saying it. If black people are so strong, if they're the first on the earth, why don't we see evidence of it? Strong people overcome situations. They don't go sit back and become victims. Louis Farrakhan says, liars don't want you around. First of all, I want you to notice how the blacks in the background are praising the Lord. Yes! And I used to be a part of that. When I was at the forum and I would listen to Louis Farrakhan, it looked like he was making sense because I was in a fallen state. And he would say, well, watch how the media is going to make me look like something else. And I believed it, so when I saw it on the nightly news, it looked like Louis Farrakhan was telling the truth. You got to wake up, America, by overcoming your anger and returning to the kingdom of heaven within. He says, liars don't want you around me because I tell you the truth.
The liar is afraid of anybody that knows the truth and will tell it. So they don't want you near Farrakhan. They know I'm going to tell you something. You're going to research and find that I'm telling you the truth.
Is that what Satan does? He gives you what looked like some truth, and if you're in the fallen state, you think it's the whole deal, that it's the whole truth. He tells you, like Satan will give you some good stuff. Let's say you want some bread. He'll give you a piece of bread, and while he's feeding you, he's lying to you. That's what Louis Farrakhan does, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, most of the so-called black leadership. I want black Americans to know it. I want all Americans to know, as an adult, you're weak to look to some other man or woman to lead you. Even the president, the great white hope of the greatest country in the world, he's not my leader. He works for me. I pay him. And I pay him to do what's best for the country. Don't let someone else lead you. Look what they'll do to you. Even in your own family members. Remember, be the leader of your own life. Be guided by what is right. And black people today, not all, but most, they do not believe in being individuals, being guided by what is right. They look for leaders, somebody to lead them. The Democratic Party, lead me, feed me, take care of me, tell me I'm wonderful, tell me it's not my fault, it's the white man. They look for that. T.D. Jakes, a Potter House minister, evil man to the core. And black people love him because he does not correct them. It's so amazing. Joni is a first-time caller. You know what? You can do what you want with this, folks, but your kids are suffering for it. Out of Arkansas. Joni, thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hey, Joni, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
All is well. Thanks for asking.
Well, I have a question for you. How can you say that Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson, all of those people were born out of wedlock?
Because they were. As a matter of fact, read my book, The Antidote.
How do you know?
I did the research. Read my book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. Louis Farrakhan said that his mother told him She wanted to abort him with a clothes hanger. That's how wicked she
But that
was.
still don't. Okay, but it's a lot of people being born out of wedlock. So all, people could be saying you were born out of wedlock.
But I wasn't. You would be lying.
How do we know?
You don't need to know. I'm telling you.
Okay, well, maybe they feel the same way about you.
No.
You don't need to know.
What's your point, Joni? They were born out of wedlock.
And then, too, you always talking about Trump, the great white hope.
The great white hope.
You bragging on him. You bragging on him because I don't see nothing he's doing. You brag on him. And then, too, who are you?
Do you have
not
a job?
God. You can't send people's soul to hell or heaven. And for all you know, were you called by God? Because if you were, you wouldn't get on here and disgrace yourself by talking about your own kind. You would be trying to tell what's right, whether you're black, green, gray, or purple.
But I'm not talking about my own kind. I'm talking about the children of the lie.
Yes, you are. When you talk about blacks, you're talking about your own kind, unless you think you're white.
You're talking about me, so are you talking about your own kind?
Yes.
So why are you doing what? Why are you doing what you say I should not do?
Don't try to use psychology. Don't try to twist stuff around like Trump do and use psychology because I am not the one.
So why are you doing what you say I should not do?
I'm not the one. Why are you doing? Because I see you promoting yourself. Because I see when you get ready to talk about white people, what you do, you have to bring somebody white on there to talk about white people.
No, I don't have to do that.
Because you're not. Yes, you do. Well, why don't you say anything about white people?
What do you want
Everything come out of your mouth is about black people. If you're a man, and you're a man of God,
you're
you
lying
can speak
right
your
now.
peace. No, you're the liar. Because if you're a man of God,
you're lying.
You can speak your piece about any color.
Joni, listen.
But every time
lying.
you get on the air, it's always something about black people, black people, black people. It's just as many white people on welfare, food stamps as it is black people.
Not for percentage-wise. For the number of black compared to the number of...
nothing.
Joni, hold on.
Nothing.
Hold on, Joni. Calm down.
Percentage nothing. Don't go by percentage. You're a human. You see, like you say, you see
Joni,
this and that. You see it just as many white people.
I'm going to put Joni on hold. I got Joni on hold. She's a black woman, an angry black woman, so you're not going to get anything in. This is the type of woman that destroyed children, run the husbands away, run the boyfriends away. Joni, I want you to tell me, have you heard me talk about crooked line Hillary, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, the white liberal Democratic Party, Antifa, who is predominantly whites. And I tell white people all the time to get over fear of black people. Have you heard me do that, Joni? She hung up. I put her on hold. I wanted to get back to her because she wouldn't shut up. Be quiet, Joni, and listen to the man and do what's right. Joni hung up. I didn't want her to hang up. I really didn't want her to hang up. But I had to put her on hold because she wouldn't shut up. She put her tongue between her legs and she ran. Such a sad way to live. A coward. Back in a moment. I noticed that Twitter is not shadow banning Louis Farrakhan. And he's preaching hatred to black people, where people such as myself and other conservatives who are teaching blacks to be of love are being shadow banned by Twitter and other aspects of the internet there. It's interesting how that is. And I know it's happening because they want to keep you got to keep black people, not all, brainwashed, dumbed down, and demoralized. You can only control people when they are demoralized. You cannot control a moral people. That's why Canada want everybody high on pot, all the young folks and everybody else high, so they can be controlled. If they were free and thinkers and overcoming and strong, you can't control those type of people. You can only control the weak, the immoral people or person. It's too many beta males in the country and in the world today. And when men are weak, women and children go out of control because of that spiritual order. Women and children need men in the same manner that men need Christ, need God. So we got to get it right. We can't let the children of the lie dictate what we say, what we do, and what is right. It's a spiritual battle. Racism have never existed. It's a made-up lie by the children of the lie, but it's so ingrained in the minds of America. We've heard it over and over and over and over again for 60 years or so that people believe it. I believed it at one time. And it wasn't until I got to know myself and I overcame the anger, the spirit of anger was taken away from me by God because I admitted that I'm wrong for being angry. And anger, resentment, and hatred is the same. I went and forgave my father, my mother. I really resented my mother who tried to turn me away from him, my father. And I returned to my father, earthly father. Through him, God, I returned to the Creator. And that's what's going to happen to men and women who forgive. Forgive so you can be free.